Yes.
So, and appreciate you being on the road with us.
Yeah.
Multiple places.
Yes.
Yeah,
Certainly do.
so, waiting on Ken. Give us the thumbs up. There we go. All right. We're on YouTube.
Okay.
Thanks to Skylar, Eddie. Appreciate you guys being with us today. We're going to let Coach Hammock start as we make this Maction transition. Talk a little bit about the schedule for the week and coming off Ball State into Western
Yeah.
Michigan.
Well, first of all, they got the good Halloween candy. Appreciate Donna for doing that. Reese's is hard to come by, but certainly that's a good thing. Happy Halloween to everybody that all the kids out there. So obviously last week was a tough game for us. Ball State, proud of the way our kids played extremely hard for 60 minutes. Didn't make the plays, throughout the whole game to put us in a better position to win. But we got to learn from that. And, one thing we talked about was cause and effect. Different things in that game happened, and what was the effect of those outcomes. But we got to protect the ball on offense. I think that's paramount. The margins of error is slim, and if you don't take care of the football, number one, you put your team in jeopardy, you put your defense in jeopardy, and we have to do a better job in that regard. So I thought our defense played really, really solid. Obviously, we put them in some bad situations from a turnover standpoint. They were able to, hold Ball State to some field goals. And then obviously, Cannon made a tremendous kick at the end of the game, and we didn't handle the end of the game scenario the best. Guys got to make plays and finish the game. But was proud of the effort, proud of the fight, proud of our football team, and want those guys to continue to move forward as we go. This week, with Maction, it gave us a chance to reassess some things, gave us a chance to self-scout, look at different things throughout, what we've been doing throughout the season, things that we can improve upon. Thought we had two really, really good improvement-type practices where we worked on some things from a offense, defense, and special teams perspective that we can use over the last month of the season. I thought our guys really handled it well. We had two extremely physical practices, and I think, that has to be our edge over the next 4 games of the season. How physical can we be? How hard can we play for 60 minutes to give ourselves the best chance possible? Obviously, our game next week against Western has done a phenomenal job. They lead the MAC as far as, rankings is concerned. They statistically are the best team in the MAC. They 4-0 in conference. We know we have a tremendous challenge to go on the road in Kalamazoo and try to play our best football. Offensively, they've done a nice job, tailoring the offense to the quarterback. He's making some nice plays, some nice reads. They have a really good running back, number 3. Their offensive line is blocking really, really well. The tight end, obviously another week where we have to, guard the tight end position. They've done a nice job getting that young man involved. And they have playmakers at the wide receiver position. And then defensively, very similar to some teams we played early in the year. They're going to mix in some 3-down and 4-down looks. Definitely want to get an extra hat to the box to stop the run game. So we know we have a challenge there, blocking their extra defenders. Obviously, I think they're playing better as the year goes along. Their offense make it really, really challenging for you to match, score for score. And their defense is creating turnovers. So we know we have a strong test in all 3 phases. And, we got to continue to put the work in this week and over the weekend to get ourselves in position to play our best football.
So, Coach, as far as the quarterback position goes, I know that's something you've kind of switched around this past week. Moving forward, is this something where you're trying to find one guy, or are you trying to embrace more of a 2-quarterback system going forward?
Well, I think, obviously, each quarterback that we have in the program does things extremely well, and obviously we want to tailor plays to what they do really, really well. So, we got extra time this week to let those guys compete and see who gives us the best chance to beat Western.
You mentioned reassessing some things. What were some of the things that you guys are keyed in on in that department?
Well, I think, situational football, we have to be better situationally. We looked at turnovers. How can we protect the ball better on offense? We looked at takeaways. How can we take the ball away on defense? And then we looked at special teams. How can we continue to improve our special teams units where those areas can be a weapon for us?
And Coach, obviously you mentioned it was a tough loss to Ball State this past game. How's the morale looking in the locker room after with a 1-3 record in MAC play?
Yeah, I think, based on what I've seen at practice, our kids they're resilient. They bounce back. We have the right type of kids in our program that, they're not going to be swayed by results. They have to recommit themselves to the process to get them ready to play. And I think that's what I've seen these last 2 days. And so over the weekend, we'll be more game plan specific for Western. And I want them to continue to have that edge about them, from a competitive standpoint, to get ourselves where we need to be so we can go play our best on Wednesday night.
Does it seem like at times you guys are, for as good as the defense has been this year, that you're asking a lot of them in certain situations, like maybe leaning on them a little too much? Is there that general sense?
Well, I think we have to play better on offense. It's not that we're leaning on our defense. We have to collectively play better on offense to make it, more conducive to playing complementary football. And we haven't done that, and that's a tough thing to take because we have the players that can do it. They just have to execute in those key moments to give ourselves a chance to extend the drive, to score points. We had some drops that last game, and that hasn't shown in recent games, but we had critical drops. We had an opportunity to score a touchdown before the end of the first half, and we dropped the ball. We had an opportunity to make an explosive play late in the game in the fourth quarter, and we dropped the ball. Then the very next play, we had a tip interception. So, when we talk about cause and effect, you can't have those type of mishaps and expect to have success on offense. And I think those are the things that, we are continually working on to try to get better at.
And Coach, could you just talk a little bit about what Cam Thompson's been to this program since transferring to Eastern? Doesn't do too much last year. Now is your leading receiver.
No, Cam Thompson has done a phenomenal job this year, but he's a phenomenal worker, and I think that's a lesson to all the young men in our program. You don't have to be the most talented player out there to be the best. Normally, the best players play the best. They practice the hardest. They work the hardest. They put themselves in position to continually have success. And he's a guy, I'm sure he would love to have a couple plays back from last week. But that hasn't changed his mindset or his approach to, what he needs to do to get better.
And could you also talk a little bit about Telly Johnson Jr., his accountability to step both with Jalen Poe's injury?
Yeah, I thought Telly came in and did a nice job. Ran extremely hard and physical. But again, he's a young guy that I think he can learn from that experience. And I think, the one thing that happens for young players is they get out there and they play and they realize a lot of things that, you were getting coached on in practice, shows up in games. And so now you can re-energize yourself on the practice field to do the things necessary that's going to allow you to have success in games. And I thought Telly, his best football is going to be in front of him. He's a young player that's eager and hungry to play really, really well. But there's a lot of things he needs to, continue to do better, and that's what we're working on.
I'm good.
I'm good.
Coach, no Halloween plans?
No, working on the game plan.
rolling with these guys today. So we have Kate Haberman, Grayson Barnes. Take questions.
This one's gonna be for Cade. So obviously, you guys come off a pretty rough defensive performance. So give up almost 400 yards of offense to Ball State. How are you guys kind of responding then? What are you guys looking to improve?
I think after any loss, it's about taking the positives out of it. Despite giving up 400 yards of offense, we pretty much only held 25 points, and only 6 of those came in the second half. So I think we should really be positive about the second half performance. Ball State had a kind of good game plan that first half. And after halftime, we really got some time to adjust. I thought we adjusted really well. So I think it's just mainly taking the positives out of the loss.
Grayson, Coach had mentioned using the mini bye as kind of reassessing some things. From where you guys are sitting on the offensive end, what do you think the biggest things that you guys have been looking at, over these 10 days that have got to change?
The biggest thing that we've been kind of harping at least the past 2 practices, have been turnovers. Making sure all the ball carriers, everyone who touches the ball has 2 hands on it, especially before traffic. Just limiting turnovers, quarterbacks making better decisions, and ball carriers holding on tight.
And Grayson, I know coaches they're still trying to figure out who they want to run with for Western Michigan as far as quarterback goes. But how's the offense just kind of playing with each of those 2, in kind of one motion, I guess?
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, we run the same stuff, Josh obviously has that little bit better of a running ability, so a lot of those plays, that run plays that we call, he reads the backside. But I mean, with Ethan, we run the same offense we do. So.
And Kate, I know Santana had that field goal block against Ball State. You guys now have 3 on the season. What's been working for you guys on that, aspect?
Well, Coach G Lee's in charge of field goal block unit, and he always brings up you never know who's going to take a play off. So you just got to give your effort 100%. Unfortunately, especially in college football, special teams tends to be a time where people think that it's time I'm not going to make the play. No one's going to touchdown. So if you have a unit, I think our unit on field goal blocks has been fantastic at this. That gives great effort every single field goal block attempt or every field goal attempt. I think the results come to show. So I think I'm just proud of the unit's effort. And like Coach G says, you never know who's taking a rep off. So that's just kind of been our game plan going into it. Give great effort.
And then with the Western Michigan game, you're going to be facing a pretty talented running back. I think Jaden Nixon's the name. Just how do you guys plan to approach that one?
Obviously we see great backs all the time in practice, especially when you see backs like AB is one of the top backs in the country. So seeing him every day in practice will be great for seeing a good conference back. So he is a very talented back at Western, and we really started the beginning stages of getting our game plan installed. So I'm excited to see the future.
For the both of you guys, it seems to be, since the Western Illinois game, every game seems to be close, seems to go down to the wire. Is there any sort of veteran muscle memory the 2 of you have, or the rest of the guys on the team, where when it gets to the final 2 minutes of a game and it's a 1-possession game like it was on Saturday at Ball State or last couple of games, is there any sense of a confidence that we've been in these situations a ton, we know what we're doing? Because it feels like Western's kind of been the same during their winning streak.
Grayson?
Well, only being here, this is my 2nd year here at NIU, and Coach Hammock, in team meetings preaches on the MAC is a tough conference, and over the years there have been a lot of 1-possession games, and we tend to win those games, So I think, just having that throughout and having the history and practicing those situations every practice, 2-minute drill, end of the half, end of the game, all that stuff that we practice really helps when we get into that scenario in the game.
Okay, same on your side.
Yeah, I mean, outside of like really 3 games my entire career here, I can't think of a game that hasn't been a one-possession game. And I'm talking not MAC play. Like we've taken Power 4 schools all the way down to the wire. I remember going into Kentucky and it coming right down to the final drive, and they're the eighth ranked team in the country. So we're just comfortable in those situations. It's been something that's been preached from the top down since I've been here, at least. There's not too many teams in the country that work out like us in the off season. Coach Junie and his staff has done a great job at forging a mental edge, and he brought up already kind of Coach Hammock all through spring ball and fall camp. They have all the stats and stuff, but like if we perform, he showed like if we perform like this in practice, like it's gonna be a 1-possession game, it's gonna be a 2-possession game, which way it swings. So we're always measuring our stuff by that kind of stick, like. So, yeah.
That said, with the close games, I mean, you look at the last 2 games. I mean, obviously these were both really close games, last possession type games that you guys come down on the wrong end of. Just what, and I guess it's for both of you. Just what, I guess what kind of fuel what lessons you take out of that, and how much fuel does that kind of add going into these final 4 games?
Cade, go ahead.
Yeah. I mean, I guess from a lesson standpoint, you have to just learn, like especially when you fall on the wrong side of it. It's a lot easier. It's a lot more fun to learn after a win, especially a close win. But you gotta learn no matter what, win or loss. And like, what did we do to put ourselves in the situation for a close game? How do we improve in these situations? Football, specifically MAC football, is all about situation football. So yeah, I think just how you improve in situations is one of the big lessons you learn. Yeah.
Grayson, just kind of changing the question a little bit on just with the 2 close losses, like you said, this is something you kind of pride yourselves on, winning these close games. I mean, obviously, how much I guess fuel does that add to the fire now going into these last 4 games, knowing that they're probably going to be close games if history is any indication, and wanting to avoid the results of the last 2 weeks.
Definitely. I mean, for an offensive side, I think it's just taking care of the football and, we've had multiple drives where we're just driving down the field, taking yards and yards and yards, a few yards at a time, converting, and allowing our defense to rest. And then all of a sudden, something happens. Whereas we drop a ball or gets intercepted or something. We just need to take care of football and keep driving on people, and I think we can extend the game and get it out of that close game format and just stay in those situations whereas taking care of the football and taking time off the clock.
And this one's going to be for both of you. So after the Ball C loss, Coach said that the MAC championship was essentially out the window, and now the focus is getting the bowl game to extend the season for the seniors. And with you 2 being seniors, how important is it to get that one more game on your career?
Grayson?
Yeah, I mean, to me, I would say it's very important. I mean, just playing more football. Like, I love this game. I've been playing since I was 6 years old. So getting that one more game, that one more opportunity is very important to me.
Cade?
Yeah, it's something I definitely wrestled with a lot recently, that it's all kind of coming to an end. Obviously, I think we both, actually I know he does, he's my roommate, have aspirations to play at the next level. But there's no guarantee with that. And it's been something that I've been really trying to wrap my head around, with my identity being so much as a football player. So obviously extending the season would be awesome. To play one more game with the guys, the game I love, the child's game I've been playing now I think I did the math last night with my girlfriend. 16 years. Like, I don't want it to end, but it's come to an end for a lot of us. I think we have like 33 seniors on the team, something like that, somewhere around there. So, yeah, I would love just one more opportunity, and it's not just for the seniors though too, because those guys behind us, like, there's a decent chunk of the team. I mean, I guess the freshman class that hasn't been to the bowl game or experienced that, and I would love to, be the class that these freshmen who maybe aren't participating on Saturdays on the field, but they're doing everything right in the classroom, on the practice field, off the field, and building toward the culture of the football team, for them to experience a bowl game. So when they're moved to the front of this room, they understand what it takes to get there, what it looks like, how much fun bowl games are. People always joke about like how they don't want to go to certain bowls because of where they're located and stuff, and you're in some random city for a week with your best friends. Like, it's a fun experience either way it goes. So I guess for the seniors, I would love to extend my season one more year or one more game, but also to give those guys behind us an idea of what it looks like. So.
Okay, for as deep as your room is, what's it like to add somebody like Ray Thomas this late in the season?
I mean, obviously awesome. Just in general, it feels like Ray hasn't been gone because he's in every meeting, he's in every practice. He has a great personality. I don't know how many of you guys have the opportunity to talk to Ray just one-on-one. He's one of the funniest guys I know. Awesome to be around. So just having him back on the field, it's been awesome. Like right away, his first drive in at Ball State, I think he batted a ball. This is the great player we know. Obviously the way injuries have fallen, tough luck, but he's a great football player, and it's an even better human. So it's great to have him back.
Any Halloween plans? Favorite Halloween costume? Do an Andy Garcia question.
Favorite Halloween costume. You want to go first?
Favorite
Childhood.
costume? Oh, childhood? Man, I don't even remember.
No memories.
Worst Halloween candy.
Worst Halloween candy?
Yeah, what's the worst Halloween candy?
To me, Almond Joy. Not a fan.
I would second that. But going back to the Halloween costume, I'm a history I'm a history minor, and I was always a little nerd growing up. So I was actually Davy Crockett one year, and that this picture's floating around from that, and that was really awesome.
Yeah.
Thoughts on candy corn? That's gonna be my last question. Thoughts on candy corn? Yes or no?
Nope.
100% yes. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes.
Awesome.
All right.
Candy corn's like Hawaiian pizza, just people like dunking on it, but don't actually.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
All right. We'll let that be the wrap today. So thanks, everyone.